Hello, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today we're going to do I think it's a fascinating episode, and this one we're going to call Martin Plowman, the unveiling of enigma of ufology. Okay, so we're going to delve into the world of ufology through a fascinating journey of a guy named Martin Plowman. Okay, so kind of buckle up. This is an interesting one. And I had done an article probably in Truth Seeker Forum um, uh, back, Jesus, quite a few years ago about Martin. I'd run across it again recently and some more information about it. So I thought I'd write one, do a video on it because I think it's really fascinating and some really interesting insight onto this guy's journey in the world of ufology. Um, anyway, so let's talk about him so we understand him a little bit. So he was a British researcher and author. And what was so amazing about this guy that really fascinated me, drew me to him, was that he actually got, as far as I understand, the only PhD in ufology ever. Okay. You know, but the issue is always, the legitimacy out in the academia, in the academic world uh, when it comes to ufology and UFOs and everything around UFOs is pretty skeptical, to say the very least. Okay, so he really became very very interested in it, and he wrote a book um, that I think is really fascinating. It's called the UFO Diaries, the chronicles of his journey, basically, and his experience in the UFO community. And it basically offers a glimpse into the world of believers and their claims of UFO extraterrestrial encounters. So the interesting thing also is when he started, when he got his PhD, the media started calling him Doctor Who for many many interesting similar reasons. Okay, so keep that in mind because that's the way he's noted. He's noted as Doctor Who out there. So, anyways, Pullman's interest in UFOs reportedly emerged during his pre-graduate studies. His fascinating took a serious turn, and he decided to make it his core subject of his PhD research. Uh, it's important to again acknowledge that UFOs it was really not accepted, but Pullman chose to proceed on and push on, and he met a lot of skepticism. And what was really interesting that I was able to get through that type of skepticism, um, and was able to pursue his doctorate. And I think he had to persuade a lot of people around him, committees that okay, a doctoral thesis. He had to convince them that this was legitimate. Now, one of the things he did, the important thing, he tried to look at it from a different angle, from the cultural and social angles of how people reacted to having encounters with aliens or just reporting UFOs. Okay, so that was the important thing. That's what opened the door for him. Okay, so his investigations, his investigations range from extraterrestrial intelligence to the psychological effects that people that had these type of encounters with aliens and UFOs. That was kind of his core thesis. Okay. And just in a little review, ufology, as you probably know, is dedicated to the study of UFOs and related phenomena. Now, this is just a general thing. It involves analyzing reported sightings and experiences of unidentified flying objects. Ufologists attempt to explain these encounters with theories ranging from the existence of extraterrestrial visitors and more mundane explanations involving natural phenomena and other psychological um, factors. Okay. So that is just kind of I just want to make that general statement because I think it's important. It's important to kind of understand in the world that Martin was living in and still probably lives in. Um, that he was up against in trying to do his research. Okay, because there is a lot of skepticism out there. Has been, was much more in the past, little less today, but we're still not getting to the point that all these people that have been abducted, that are getting the acknowledgement that yes, you have gone through a terrible trauma, and probably you're going to need some help, and we're all going to need help eventually when it comes to alien abductions and the why of the alien abductions. But that's for another video. So Martin Pullman's approach to ufology differed from the traditional investigation. He opted to explore social and cultural aspects of the phenomena, of UFO phenomena. His research involved traveling the world, interviewing a vast range of individuals, believers who claim that UFO sightings, witnesses, and other ufologists. Through his interactions, Pullman aimed to understand the psychology behind the belief in UFOs and the impact it has had on individuals and communities they belong to. So he looked at the kind of the stuff on the sidelines, the stuff that was being affected by UFOs and, again, aliens, of course. So let's talk a little bit about his findings. So Pullman's research yields some pretty interesting findings. He identified commonalities and experiences, narratives shared by the believers. He delved in the reasons why people reported sightings, exploring the motives that might drive these expectations and would possibly drive these experiences. Importantly, Pullman's work shed light on the emotional and social aspects of the UFO phenomena, highlighting the impact it has on individuals and communities that were involved. Okay, because there's in my studies, basically, a lot of people are involved in this. It is just as an individual. It could be the family members. It could be people that peers. Uh, and it's very important to understand it's just not the individual. There's more people involved in it um, than that. So how was Pullman's work received? Okay, generally speaking, I believe that UFO enthusiasts, including myself, uh, his books was received quite well. I enjoyed the parts I read. I didn't read it all. I read a vast majority of it, but whatever I read, I really did enjoy and really believed that he had found some really interesting, important information. So that's the UFO enthusiast. Little different when it came to the world of academia. Now, it was a miracle as far as I'm concerned that he ended up getting his PhD. Now, you may want to know where he got his PhD from. And as he got his PhD, and it wasn't PhD, and it wasn't easy to find. Okay. I finally dug and dug and dug and found out it was the University of Melbourne in Australia, of course. They were the ones that gave him the PhD in ufology. Okay. So I think we have to remember that Martin's whole crux of his studies and his research and his PhD really involved bridging the gap between ufology, okay, and the other stuff, social things, cultural things, and he pioneered this approach that it's a bigger thing out there. Ufology, um, individuals who are affected by ufology, it's a bigger thing. It's much more. It's more cultural. It's more social. The whole thing about people getting together and talk about UFOs is really an important thing, an important aspect of this whole thing. So, with that said, I'm not going to give you any big details. You should read the book. Okay. I'm not getting any money for promoting his book, but I think it's an excellent book, and you will see the important details that he presents in his book. So again, the book is called UFO Diaries in the Weird World of High Strangeness. And I recommend the book, and go for it. I think you will enjoy it. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Bye bye.